Good day, everyone. My name is Edna White. I'm speaker, coach, and voice behind the Keeping It Real on Purpose Edcast. And you can learn more about me at ednawhite.com. But today I'm going to talk to you about something that you can walk out the room with and start doing right away. I'm going to be talking about you getting your life together in one simple move. And we don't really think about it, but I'm going to start by asking you this. Think about the story you tell about your childhood, a relationship, a failure, s- something close to you that happened, Think about that. You've told this story so many times that you can tell it in your sleep, right? So it could be something like you got passed over and you keep repeating it, right? Now ask yourself, is that story serving you or sentencing you? That's what I'm going to be talking to you today about. Is that story serving you or is it sentencing you to what you're telling it? So it's just like a picture. If you take a picture of something, right, and you keep it for years and say, wow, I remember these times, and you keep going back there, going back there. Sometimes we trap ourselves in the stories and the pictures that we tell and we see, that we have in our own minds. Because here's the truth. I want to anchor this whole conversation in your story didn't hold you back. Your interpretation of it did. So we're going to start with, talking about the story versus the meaning, right? It's two things, the story and then there's the meaning. Every one of us carries events, facts, things that happened. We carry those inside of us. She left and didn't take me. He didn't show up. I got passed over. The business failed. The diagnosis, the dream failed or it stalled. Those are events. They exist. They happen. They gave us a full stop. The moment you add, and that means, that's where your power either grows or it shrinks. So, where am I talking about? And that means, where does that happen in that means? In that means is like she left, and that means I'm unlovable. I got passed over, and that means I'll never get another chance. The business failed, and that means I don't have what it takes. So, whatever you believe in your heart, so your mouth is great at talking things, it's great. We could talk a great game. We could probably even act like it's okay. But our heart beats a different way. It slows down. You see, that the event didn't write the sentence, you did. The event happened. But you are the writer and the creator of your life. So you wrote the sentence. You wounded yourself. The tired self, the little girl, the 9-year-old that got hurt, they wrote it. You're writing and you're interpreting out of pain. And you've been reading that script ever since. I can't tell you how many times I hear my clients talk about if I just had this chance, because I can remember when I had this opportunity come to me. And listen to the words. I was so foolish that I let it slip through my fingers. Now imagine carrying that story on your shoulders, in your nervous system, in your heart, in your mind, and you're carrying it around and you're repeating the script over and over and over again. Imagine that. There was a doctor, Dr. Viktor Frankl, he has survived the unimaginable and came out teaching one truth. Between stimulus and response, there's a space. Between stimulus, which is what happens, right? Then there's a space, then there's a response, right? In that space lives your freedom, your power, your choice. You carry that space inside you right now. The question is whether you're using it. And sometimes we don't. We don't take that space. And some people call it the pause. I just call it the space that you can make a choice, a great choice. You can make it. But we kind of don't. We don't make that choice. We respond. Well, we don't respond, we react. We really react a lot of the times. And that reaction then is in that space. And then later on, we think about what we should have responded, right? So that's where we get the in power from. We get that in power from. So you carry that space inside you right now. You have to be using it the right way. And I know you're probably asking me now, well, how do I use the power? Well, you don't use the power just yet because there's something else that you have to ask yourself before you use the power. Why do you hold on to this interpretation that shrunk you? Why do you hold on to it? Why am I keep repeating the same story? Why am I not over this yet? Right? 3 reasons. The first one is it's familiar. Okay? A painful story we know feels safer than an empowering story that you never had or that you don't believe, right? So you may not believe that you deserve to be the CEO of a conglomerate. You may not believe that. But you may, take the back seat and say, I can do this, this, or that. But you may not believe that you or that can be that big. See, the mind craves certainty. That's one thing. There's no maybe, there's no trying, there's a yes or no. So when your mind gets yes or no, it has that space now. I got the no. What do I do with that no? That's the space. What do I do with that? I got passed over. What do I do with that space? Okay. Do we interpret it from our pain? That little 9-year-old that's going to have a little tantrum? Do we get an attitude? How do we interpret this? Do we interpret it from the internal with understanding instead of understanding? Which one are we using? So the pain story is familiar. We could stay there. We could live there for a long time. We could keep doing it, right? But the mind craves certainty, even painful certainty. Even if you have a situation where there is pain, that's certain. Okay, I'm gonna have to go through this, so that's certain. But this is how I'm gonna feel about it. The second thing is identity. Some of us told our story so long that the story became us. Letting go of the interpretation feels like losing part of yourself. Now, that requires grief. When you lose something or someone, requires grief. So grief is real. You have to grieve. That space may be for you to grieve that I'm no longer like that. Now I have to grieve that and then respond accordingly. And the release is totally necessary. Third, evidence. Life has a way of confirming what we look for. Okay? Tell yourself you're unlucky, and your brain will find red lights. They will find rejection every day, right? And even delay, it'll find delay. It'll find something to fit what you want in life. So it will find the proof. Now, if you believe that you can be the CEO of a conglomerate, it will find proof. It's just like if you say you want your favorite car, right? You like your favorite car. Let's just say oh, I love this car. I want this car. Well, in your mind, you're saying that, your mouth is saying it, and pretty soon you'll see it driving around. Like, oh gosh, I keep seeing my car, right? That's what it's like. That's evidence, right? The brain runs the story. Whatever story you hand it, it runs the story. So at 61, I can tell you with painful conviction, the years ahead of you deserve a better script, the one that was written in your most painful season. Now, here's the time that you reinterpret. This is how we're going to reinterpret what we're telling the story about. Okay? Reinterpretation isn't denial. It's not like you don't believe it's there, right? I know it's there. Now I have to reinterpret. That's like changing the narrative, right? Changing the narrative about what you believed it to be. It's authority. Reinterpreting something is authority. Whenever I was passed over a couple of times, but I said, it's not my time. Maybe there's something I need to learn. And when I learned that, and then when I looked out for the proof and I walked within that proof, when I learned that, then I was able to be higher than the position I even wanted. It was just that simple. But we have to learn that reinterpretation isn't denial. You took the same facts and you asked different questions. You had a different interpretation. So here's the practice. Move number 1, name the event cleanly. Strip it down to just the facts, not how you felt, how you interpret the other person to have said what they said, but just the facts. No adjectives, no verdict, just what happened. So let's say my father was not present in my childhood, and that's an event. Move number 2, write it or say it out loud. And I decided that that meant I wasn't worth saying it, right? Or staying. I wasn't worth staying for. Okay, that I wasn't worth staying. So I decided, since my father left, I I agreed that wasn't worth staying, right? But what if there was something else, something more? Move 3, author a new meaning. Ask, what else could this have meant? What does surviving prove about me? So it would look like my father's absence taught me to build my own foundation and learn self-reliance before I even had a word to do with it. Same event, new meaning, new trajectory. This is the work. This is what happens when you separate people who stay stuck in their story. You separate yourself from them and you use the story as fuel. So your story has superpower. Every scar carries a skill set. The person who survived the breakdown developed resilience. See, we forget what happened to us before, we forget that. We forget that we survived some things. So we're always in that moment, right? Especially when it comes to pain. The person who rebuilt after loss developed wisdom. The person who kept going when no one believed developed unshakable conviction. I have that. You have that. Your story, fully owned, honestly interpreted, became the most powerful asset you bring into every room. See, people connect with authenticity, especially when you become your original self. They follow live experiences. They trust someone who has walked through the fire and can speak about the heat without flinching. Your story isn't your burden. Your story, your reauthored story, has an intention. It becomes your calling card. So here's what I want you to do, and I want to leave with you today. You are not your worst season. You are not the verdict. You are not that pain that you wrote. You are the author, and the authors rewrite drafts. If there's any authors like myself out there, we rewrite drafts all the time. Pick one story you've been carrying, one interpretation that keeps you small. This week, I want you to apply those three moves. Name the event, identify the meaning, and author something new. Do that one time, and you'll understand what I mean when I say the story was never the problem. This is Edna White, and I thank you for being here with me today. Again, if you want to learn more about me and you want to dig deeper, go to my website, www.ednawhite.com. Thank you so much.